up, everybody? I'm your Legendary Commander, and welcome back to Ark Survival Evolved. In this video, we're going to talk about the Stego and its new TLC update. So, looking at it right away, you can tell the Stego has had an update, or maybe you can't, and you just need to pay a little more attention. But the Stego has had a visual update. The model does look a little better, and the spines, well, when you hop on, they have a different pattern on them. And in fact, when you press the C button, spines change, and they flip in and out. So now the spines on this Stego move. This is all pretty neat, but the moment you step off the Stego, it goes back to, well, normal. Now, it is unclear whether or not the enemy player, when you're riding it, can tell what it looks like because, well, I didn't have another perspective to look at it. The moment I stepped off is the moment it changed. However, the mode still remained. But when it's not being ridden, you can't even tell. So probably the enemy player can't tell when it's not being ridden, but probably can when it is. I know that's a lot of assumptions, but why would you change the mode the Stego is in? Well, the first thing I did was line 3 Stegos up and put them all on passive and put them in different modes. Then I took an assault rifle and shot all 3. As we can see, in every angle that I shoot the Stego, they take damage accordingly to as they would normally. But one of the Stegos is taking half the damage of the others. That one is in Hardened plate mode. This option actually grants multiple things. One thing it grants is, well, damage reduction from any incoming attack, be it bites, gunfire, anything. It also prevents a flyer from flying in and grabbing you off. Another thing I could not show you, unfortunately. Hardened plate mode also collects wood while not collecting berries. And boy, does it collect wood. It collects a fair amount of wood. So maybe if you don't have a beaver or a mammoth, a Stego might not be the worst idea for harvesting wood anymore. Next, we move on to heavy plate mode, and just like before, it prevents all flyers from picking you off. This mode doesn't provide any damage reduction. However, what it does do is, when it hits a target, forces them to slow down, which means if the enemy's been trying to run from you, they're going to slow down to a screeching halt, and once you hit them once, you can keep hitting them to keep them slow. It keeps resetting, and they're not going to get away. However, you are riding basically a very slow cow, so have fun trying to catch your enemy. The heavy plate mode does also collect thatch, and it does it fairly well. Not nearly as good as it does wood, but it doesn't do a poor job at it. The final mode is Sharpened plate mode. Sharpened plate mode is supposed to have an armor penetration. However, I was not able to do this to any dinos. This is probably more to be utilized on players versus dinos though. So if you're expecting maybe some more damage output, you're not going to see any more from Sharpened plate mode. Maybe that'll change in the future, or maybe it's a bug right now, but I didn't see any effect from going into Sharpened plate mode. However, I was able to see an effect when collecting berries. Sharpened plate mode collects tons of berries, so if you're in a rush to collect berries, your farming cow just got better, collecting 200 plus a swipe sometimes. If you're in a high density bush area, you're probably going to collect a lot of berries, and thankfully, because in all modes, the Stego reduces the weight of all berries by 75%. Now that's it for all the modes, but there's also the impaling tail swipe. Now maybe this is where the Sharpened plate works best, but again, could not test that. Your impaling strike allows you to impale players and dinos. It is actually very hard to hit dinos though with this, but it will not hit large dinos at all. This means if you're trying to impale a dodo or a dillo, you can definitely do that without hitting the turtle that's sitting right next to it, or the bronto or whatever. However, it is very difficult to hit your targets with this, so honestly, I don't know if you really want to use this. It might be better on players again, as the player's hitbox is a little bit bigger. It might also be good for fishing a dillo that's inside your tame, but it's not that damaging. As I hit a dillo, it was only doing 10 points every second. Now for a player with a small health pool, that's probably pretty bad, but it also runs only until your stamina is out, and that's going to take a while. Do you have 10 seconds, 50 seconds to hold a player in position? Probably not. And this also might lend to the fact that I had a level 35 Stego versus a 150. Then again, sometimes catching players is the hardest thing in the game, so if you can catch him and stop him from moving, well, you can probably beat him up with a few other dinosaurs at the same time, or shoot him while he's on your Stego's tail. Definitely a few things you could probably do with this guy. Also, being it doesn't attack other dinos, that means if you're in somebody's base with this, you could swing your tail and not stir up an emotion. So the Stego has definitely gotten more powerful, but it's not super duper super powerful like you might want. However, he is definitely going to fill a lot more roles that he couldn't fill before. So, with all that said, that is going to be the end of this video. If you liked it, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure to tell your friends. But y'all take care. And I'll catch you next time.